Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we are in a different setting. We have put out my Halloween decorations. My boyfriend came home from work last night and he was like, what the hell? And I was like, spooky season. This is kind of a smaller mukbang because I had a really big breakfast. I'm gonna open up this Dr. Pepper. Look at this little baby Dr. Pepper. Isn't she cute? So today we are talking about the Lindsay Buzak. I don't know how to say her last name. So we're just gonna say Lindsay's murder. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell y'all what I have. So I have some shrimp with some Red Lobster garlic bread rolls. Oh my god, they're so good. My local grocery store, they carry like the box to make them. So I always make these like every few weeks, just like as a snack. And then some Cajun homemade shrimp that I made. So, she was 24 at the time when she was murdered. She was a realtor in Canada, in Victoria, Canada. And so, like I said, she was a realtor. So, if you're a realtor, be careful. Someone might try to kill you. Just saying. So what happened was she was working for her boyfriend's mom, who was also a very like prominent figure in the realtor community in their area. And she gets this call one day, right? It's in January. I believe January 30th, 2008. She gets a call on her personal cell phone, which for some realtors is normal. But from my understanding, she was kind of not newer, but she knew that not a lot of clients have her number. So it's kind of weird that they just called her. And so she answers, and it's a lady with a very, very strange accent. And she can't pick up on what it necessarily is. According to reports, because her father is very heavily involved with this case, which I feel like rightfully so, because if you're murdered and your loved ones aren't freaking out, I think you need new loved ones. Like, I think you need some new people in your life. So she's, kind of skeptical about the call, and the lady's like, oh yes, I want to see this house on this street. It's in my budget of $1 million. Can I see it? Because we want to buy it within the next week, basically. And she's like, yeah, sure. How did you get my number? And they said, from another client of hers. From the articles I've read, it's unclear if she ended up getting who the client was that gave out her number. It's very mixed reviews. Some people say yes, she did reach out to that client, but that client was out of town. And some people say no, she never got the name of the client who was supposedly gave her number to this weird caller. These are so good. I like to put extra cheese and extra garlic in them. they schedule a time and whatnot to go and see the house together. And so Lindsay calls her dad and is like, hey, like, I got this call. It was very strange. It just seemed very weird and off-putting. I don't know, like, it's a good commission deal, but I don't know if I want to do it. And her dad's like, okay, you know. Now, Lindsay also has a boyfriend named Jason, which is, like I said, his mom is Shirley, who owns like this huge realtor like thing and is very prominent in the community and has helped Lindsay a lot over the years. The more I read, I realized that the mom has been very like in their lives. Now she tells Jason, she's like, honey, I don't know how I feel about this. It feels really sketchy. I have a really bad feeling about it. And he says, that's a big cat, huh? And Jason says, no, honey, you really need to go. You should go, because that commission check for $1 million? Wow. Because I think the house was listed for like $965,000, but they were offering $1 million. And so she's like, no, well, can you come with me so that I feel a little bit safer because you'll always be with me? And he's like, yeah, sure. So around 4:30 that day, February 2nd, 2008, they have a really late lunch around 4:30, and the viewing is scheduled for 5:30. So they leave the restaurant, I think around like 5 o'clock, and so she goes home real quick because they drove in separate cars. Like they met there at the restaurant, and she went home to go change into her realtor clothes or like more professional clothing. And then she arrives at the house around like 5:20, 5:30. And Jason's like texting her. He's like, hey babe, like I'm so sorry, I'm running late. I'll be on my way in a minute. I'm running late. I'm sorry. And then he goes to a shop, like a mechanic shop, and picks up his friend. Now at first I thought this was weird. Then the more I read into it, I was like, okay, this is really weird. So the friend was later on interviewed, and he said that it was very strange because they were not friends like that. And that was the first time they had ever hung out. And Jason just out of the blue was like, hey, you want to hang out? Let's go for a ride. Pretty weird. That's like meeting a coworker and having like one conversation with them, and not even like a very intimate conversation, just like a, oh, do you like the color blue? Oh yeah, me too. Oh hey, you want to go hang out with me? Like let's go for a car ride real quick. So Jason finally gets to the house around like 5:40, 5:45, I believe, from what I remember. And he texts her and he's like, hey, I'm here. And he sees the couple. According to him, he saw the couple walking out. Because apparently he had kind of pulled into the driveway a little bit. He saw them walking out. But then apparently they saw him and then turned around and just walked straight back inside. And apparently he didn't think it was anything weird. And also, mind you, at this time too, Lindsay is not texting back. He's like, hey, are you okay? She's not replying. And also they studied her records after, and those text messages she never opened. The only one she ever opened was, hey, I'm running late. So instead of checking on her, like that was the whole reason why he was there in the first place, was to make sure she was okay and be in the house with her while she showed the house, he decides to pull the driveway, park a little bit farther down, and wait another 10 minutes. Ten minutes goes by. And he's like, oh, she's still not replying. Let's go up there. So him and the friend go up there. The front door is locked. No signs of life. But they look in the window and they can see his girlfriend's shoes are sitting there in the hallway. Like, I guess like she took them off, you know? And so they freak out. And coincidentally, the back door was left unlocked. So his friend like got in through the back door, let him in through the front door. And he apparently said that he immediately went upstairs to find her laying in a pool of blood, stabbed multiple times, and the clients were nowhere to be found. No. I don't know if y'all are thinking what I'm thinking, but at first I was like, this dude made up these two people. But those two people that she was supposed to meet with are real. Because there are other witnesses of people saying that they saw them walking up to the house. No, not walking into the house, but walking up to the house. So that means that this couple had to park. They parked purposely not in the driveway, and they parked kind of not far from the house, but like apparently about a block away. So they call 911. I don't know what 911 is in Canada. I don't know if it's 911 or something else. I don't know. But they call the police there, or in Canada. And this case, unfortunately, turns into a cold case. So, the phone that the couple used to call her was, of course, a burner phone. It was very strange, too, because the phone was purchased back in November of 2007. And it was finally activated in January of 2008. And it was only used to call her. And then after the murder was done, the phone was never used again. Now, let's get into some theories. It was apparently it was gruesome, but clean in the sense, like, her first stab wounds were in the back, so she didn't see it coming. And then also, after I was reading some more on Reddit about this case, she even had breast implants. And the killers stabbed her breast implants. But guess who paid for the breast implants? Shirley, the mom of Jason, of the boyfriend. And what I was reading from many articles, the general consensus is that Lindsay was not very happy in her relationship, and she did want to leave him. And apparently they have broken up before. And from a few articles I read, people have claimed that she also was actually looking for a new job, and but still wanted to be a realtor, but she was looking for a new company to work for because she no longer wanted to have ties to her soon-to-be ex-boyfriend, because she was planning on breaking up with him also. But this time for like good. And the mom also helped pay for this beautiful condo too that they were living in. And then even her dad said that her relationship with Jason was rocky at best. So it definitely was not a good one. And apparently he was very controlling over her. So it doesn't really seem too favorable in his, you know. Another thing that I find it's fishy, but then I also kind of understand like what other Redditors were saying. Over these past 12 years, he has refused to give DNA evidence. He's been cooperative, but he has refused to give DNA evidence. Which at first I thought was like, well, duh, because, you know, he is a killer. But the thing is, Canada is speculating that it is a professional killing because there's no evidence left behind at all. Like no fingerprints, no nothing. So even if they were to grab his DNA, they wouldn't have anything to compare it to. So it's kind of like, you know, I understand. Plus, too, like, people were saying, which I even understand, too, because I really want to do the 23andMe thing. But what do they do with your DNA? Like, I just find that weird that someone will have, like, your DNA. Like, it creeps me out. It creeps me out. So I understand what people are saying is because, like, you don't know what they could possibly do with that DNA. Plus, too, since he has that friend with him, that friend is a witness to saying, no, there was a couple that walked in or walked out, saw us, and turned right around and went back into the house. And they probably escaped through the back door because it was unlocked. And they parked farther down, so give them time to go through the yards and skirt out while they're like looking through the house. I'm probably gonna miss some information because there's like a lot of information, but not a lot of information about this case. But I personally think that he is behind it and that he necessarily didn't kill her, but I think him and the mom conspired to like put a hit out on her. A lot of people speculate that she probably saw something she wasn't supposed to. Another one which I just kind of find hard to like, I don't know, it just seems like a wild chase, but a lot of people think it has to do with the cartel. Because apparently she did have some friends that she wasn't necessarily close with, but they were related to drug cartels, and some of her friends have been busted in cases like about I think 6 to 7 months before her death. A huge drug bust happened in Canada near that city. like a $2.2 million drug bust. And apparently they claimed that she was an informant or a snitch. And apparently even at one point the police had to come out and say that she had nothing to do with it. So a lot of people speculate that maybe even if she wasn't an informant, the cartel was just like, screw it, like just kill her, like it doesn't matter. Because I know that, you know, with the cartel, usually lives really don't matter to them that much. So maybe they were just doing it just to send a message, just to be like, you know what, it doesn't matter, just don't mess with us. So there's that speculation, but I don't know. But I think the boyfriend and the mom had something to do with it. And that the boyfriend purposely just invited that friend along so that he could have a sturdy alibi, you know? Because also, too, his excuse was because the cops were like, well, why didn't you go into the house the second you got here, you know? And he was like, well, I didn't want to seem like a intruding and overbearing and controlling boyfriend. But the thing is, she asked you specifically to come with her and to come inside with her so that she felt safe. So that kind of contradicts his story. Or his reasoning, you know. But it's pretty sad because it's been 12 years and no one still really knows what happened to her, and it sucks too because it was such a brutal murder. I want to say they even call it like Canada's murder house. Because the house is brand new too. Like I think they were saying that no one's ever lived in it. So I bet that house is probably hard to sell now. And apparently the dad too has a website for her. And some troll a few years ago, I think in 2017 or 2018, they posted a message and they were like, haha, I killed her, you're never gonna catch me. But I think it was ruled to be just like a hoax, like some like teenager or bored person behind the, you know, camera or the computer. But a lot of people have said that the website that the dad has for his daughter, like for updates and whatnot, has actually done a lot more harm than good. Because I guess the instances like that. But hopefully one day this case turns from an unsolved case to a solved case. It's always so sad. Every time I read about an unsolved case, I always just hope that one day it'll be figured out. Yeah, so leave some comments down below. Be sure to subscribe, like this video. Like I said last video, I love interacting with y'all, so be sure to follow me on all my little platforms I will have listed down below also. Thanks. Bye, guys.